My tacos feel a little rusty, but whatever.
Oh, Lisa's there too. Lisa said her too. Don't want to get stuck in the cell. Yeah.
And like all cat did what the other pair did the other way. The other day, just the opposite.
Oh yeah. It's a little closer to resistance though. You could see a little rejection.
Yeah, it looks like JP.
Y'all look at
stronger.
yeah. I was about to say AJ. Did y'all look at that?
I seen it. Like we didn't get the. If we got a buy signal right here, I would have taken it, but
yeah, it's been
right there was neutral.
So I think it may retrace and possibly during London session it may give up another buy signal, and then we can take it during London session. So we'll keep you guys updated.
Yeah, I'm hoping it keeps pushing. We got 29 pips until full TP. Looks like it could probably make it, honestly. Let's see. But I haven't really seen anything else. I've been watching charts, me and Aaron, all day. It's just market's been weird today. I mean, this whole week's been pretty weird. I thought I was gonna smoothen out, but I don't know. It's been moving a little crazy.
Yeah, that 30 earlier. That man, I'm so hurt that I got out of that trade early.
On which one?
US 30.
Mm-hmm. It went way past TP. Like it went to where it wanted to.
Oh, for
about 3,000.
Yeah, man, it's not giving up. It's super bullish right now.
You know, it's weird. I don't understand how or why is it so bullish. It's crazy because the stock market's not doing. I mean, there's like 10 stocks doing good.
Exactly.
It's been consolidating since before swap though. So.
Yeah, it's crazy. Yeah, it's consolidating right now. It's going to be consolidating, I think, all through Asia. And then it'll probably it'll choose a direction once we get closer to London.
Yeah, Wade said probably by tomorrow.
Yeah, I don't want to get stuck in anything right here, so that's why I'm in there, because it's been consolidating. There's like the one pair you don't want to get stuck with, because when this thing shoots the opposite direction, you're going to blow your account.
I've been watching it all day. Like, it owed me money.
Yeah, it's not really worth entering right now, because the thing is, like, when he goes, the spread's like 277, so by the time you get in, you're barely going to get anywhere.
Right, not to mention the spread.
Yeah, exactly. It's the worst part. It's weird that they have Awanda data for like indices, but I don't think they carry indices, do they?
I haven't. That was the first broker I used, and I went from them to IC, I think. I don't think they had indies, though. I don't remember ever seeing it.
Oh, CC said they don't. Yeah, it's weird. Yeah, because that's what me and Aaron were thinking too. We were like it's weird that they have the data, but they don't actually
exactly.
They don't actually trade it.
There's a couple brokers that do, and it's weird. Like the 30 is they have all night as data for that, but they don't do it.
Oh, do they have it for that too?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, it's kind of unusual because you'd expect them to if that's the case.
Let's see.
Anything else? Yusuf said, yeah, he doesn't count them as well. Yeah, I mean, if they did carry it, I would have just switched over to Wanda since they're regulated, but unfortunately not. There's a scalp entry for US 30. I mean, it's too risky. It's in a definite range. Like there's
exactly.
Mm-hmm.
No point. But I mean, yeah, it possibly could break through it, but it's not going to break far enough where it'll be worth it. Like this is probably the farthest it'll go to the previous high.
Hey, Sean, Lisa wants you to check USDCH up.
All right, Lisa, let's check.
I ain't got nothing but hate for that pair.
Yeah, they move too slow. The CHF pairs.
I noticed that.
They move
I don't
slow.
have nothing after the other day. I had nothing for hate for CHF in any form.
Yeah, I think I was looking at this too, but the trends were kind of constant. I wasn't sure if it was trending up or trending down. It looks like it broke the trend line from up, but it looks like it came back down. So I think if it establishes a down or up trend, it could literally go either way. You could either stay here and then it'll probably go into like a descending triangle if it ends up. Yeah, because it looks like it's stuck in here right now, so it might test it. Down. And then I think once it breaks one of these, if it breaks its triangle, you can probably determine it further. Let me see what the bias is. You see. So the bias for UC today is about daily, trading intraday. Yeah, because on the daily it's a light buy, but it looks like on the other time frames it's moving into a sell, a strong sell on the 1 hour. So if you're trading this, I think it's a so it's probably gonna test that, come down, break below, and then if it breaks the support, it's definitely gonna shoot down. So this is a ton of news. I don't know what's going on. It's like 33. It's all like commodities. This is U.S. news tomorrow morning. Let's zoom out. Yeah, at least it looks like it's coming down. If you're in for a sell, I think it should look good. Yeah, I know it's a lot of lines because I have both of these set up, but it looks like it's not trending up anymore. So I'll probably just leave the downtrend like that. Yeah, it looks like it'll be coming down. Confirms on the technicals and the oscillators as well. Yeah, because on the weekly it's a sell. On the 4 hour it's a sell for the most part. 1 hour it's I don't know, it's kind of iffy. They're both kind of contradicting each other. Like on the daily it's a buy, but on the 4 hour it's a sell. Yeah, I probably just stay away from UC if you're not in it. How did this arrow get here? Did you draw this arrow? Oh, Lisa said she's in a sell. Fingers crossed. Yeah, I think it's in a sell. Honestly, I think it has more of a sell bias short term than it does a buy. Because it fits.
When did she buy? I mean, sell.
What was that?
When did she buy? What price?
Lisa, do you have the price when you enter? That's 30 scalps. Lisa entered at 0.97. Let's see. She entered from way down here. So she's off from entry about, oh, she's not that far. Negative 15 pips. So I think it should come down, hopefully. Yeah, it looks like it should probably reject off this trend line and then down.
Bianchi said let him in. He's knocking at the door.
And it's weird that they added that. I know it's for security purposes, but like they don't give you the option to take it off.
Oh wow.
Yeah, because I looked through all the settings and then I couldn't figure it out. So I figured they probably just require it now. Yeah, so Lisa's in at 0.97, so that's her entry right there. I think, yeah, if you give it some time, probably by London, it'll come down pretty heavy. So the 4 hour. Yeah, it looks like it's in a pretty strong downtrend. So I think you should be fine, Lisa. So I'm going to map it from up here. Yeah, you should be good. Let's give it some time. Cool. Let's see. Is there anything else? We'll go down the list. C6 said he jumped into a GC. Let's see the GC real quick. GCAD or GB pound THF. THF. All right, cool. So let's go on the 1 hour. So are you in for a buy? I'm assuming you're in for a buy because that's the last signal, unless there's something here for.
Well, it's a new perspective on that because it's a new game, like a new camera, so it's basically it's a new map.
Yeah, so it looks like you took this buy right here. So if we zoomed out, this is what your trades are looking like right now. Oh yeah, you're pretty good in the profit right now. Let's see what the bias is. I'm pretty sure the bias is for a buy. Yeah, so on the daily, it has a buy bias, 4 hour, strong buy, moving averages, summaries a buy. For the 1 hour, it's a strong buy. So you should be good. I think it's definitely going to keep pushing up. It might come up, test the resistance right here. So I think once you get in a profit enough, closer to the resistance, you have the indicator. See, you'll know where the resistance is. Yeah, probably around 14 pips. I'd probably move my stop loss and profit just in case it wants to retrace back. But I think overall it'll keep pushing up since we have a strong 1 hour bias for a buy. Same with the 4 hour and same with the daily. So I think you should be good. Nice. Yeah, that was a good entry. I should have. Well, we weren't really looking at this pair, but I think if I saw it, I probably would have taken it too. This was at about 3 hours ago. Did you see this, Aaron? I don't remember seeing this because I know we were talking earlier.
I'm not even gonna lie to you, bro. I don't remember seeing that one.
Yeah, me neither. You know what happened? Probably the.
This is doing spread, probably 1, 2.
Oh, you're right. I was around 4, so it was around spread time. I usually don't look at the charts from 11 a.m. my time to 2 p.m. Due to the spread. I don't like getting stuck in anything. Yeah, it's gonna be super slow probably from now until like 10 p.m. So in about 4 hours, we'll start picking up once we get closer to the London session. But otherwise, I think we should be good since the bias is pretty strong all around for that pair. I definitely see it pushing up. See, I'm gonna go down the list again. So I really want us to look at Euro USD. I did the same thing with Euro USD. When I analyzed it earlier, it looked like it was a little uncertain because you can draw. I was able to draw trend lines from both directions. But let's look at what the bias is. So bias for EU on the daily is a sell. On the 4 hour, it's slightly into a buy. Looks like it's moving into a buy, but it's still a little uncertain. On the 1 hour, it's a buy. 4 hour bias is a buy, but on the daily, it's still a sell. So I think it'll depend once price breaks this triangle right here. I think that's when you could determine which direction will be moving. On the 30-minute. Yeah, it's pretty close. I think in the next couple hours, so it's around 6 right now, so 7, 8, 9, 10. So around 10, it'll be around this area. And then as it gets closer to London, it's either going to break out upwards or break out downwards. But I think it's going to stay in a range, and it's probably just going to keep consolidating within this range until London session because it's going to move really slow during Asia, as it usually does. You can see here, the past 3-4 hours, there's barely any movement. So if you look at how many, it's only moved 10 pips in about the past 4 or 5 hours. It's like very, very little movement. So depending on I'm not sure if you're in for a buy or a sell, if you're just speculating. I'd probably just wait for it to break this triangle. But yeah, overall, it's still pretty uncertain. Probably look at the 4 hours. Yeah, it's pretty neutral. So I just wait for it to break out before you enter anything on EU. It can really go either way. It breaks out that way, or breaks out that way. Go on 4 hour just to see. Yeah, it's in consolidation even on the bigger time frames. But I think personally, if I was taking this, I'd probably go for a sell, honestly, because it looks like the Euro US, not the Euro USD, but the actually, I don't know, because usually it moves the same direction as GU. I don't know. Hey, Aaron, what do you think of the US dollar? Do you think it's going to gain in strength, or do you think it's going to go down?
You said Euro USD?
Yeah, or not Euro USD, but just the dollar in general. Because it looks like it's weird. Like EU, it's pretty indecisive for EU.
It's in a tight space right now, so we'll have to wait for it to break out. So it's kind of hard to determine right now.
That's what I was thinking too. Until it breaks out of this triangle.
Yeah, but I'm expecting the USD to have bad news tomorrow. I mean, so hopefully the US dollar is weak tomorrow.
That's what I was thinking too.
Who knows? We got tricked last week.
Oh, I know. Well, yeah, last week it was crazy. The for NFP it barely even moved, and I thought it was going to move a lot.
Yeah, I never seen that before.
Especially with all the unemployment data, you would think that it
exactly
got like crazy. But yeah, EU's it's pretty indecisive right now, so I'll probably hold off on it until we get more info. All right, let's see if we got anything else here. So let's just look at UJ. So looking at UJ on a shorter time frame, 30-minute, there isn't really overall trend. You can see from the trend meter it's blue, so the trend's pretty neutral right now. But if we were to manually draw it, looks like it's in a slight uptrend. The biases for UJ. Yes, so UJ looks like it's in a buy on the daily. It says it has a buy bias, also in the 4 hour and the 1 hour. So it's definitely in an uptrend. So I wonder what happened right here. Was there any news drawn this time, Aaron? Or it looks like it was the US.
I have no idea.
That's a crazy spike. Like,
I think that was around this morning, right?
Yeah. It was
the FOMC meeting.
Oh, yeah, you're right. Yeah, it spiked like 25 pips up, and then it spiked down 30 pips. So I think that was around the FOMC. But it looks like it's going to be shooting up because it's a strong buy on the daily. It's also a strong buy on the 4 hour, and it's a very strong buy on the 1 hour. So I think if you were to get a signal on here for a buy, I'd probably take it. Yeah, I mean, this is weird because actually, no, this is right because the yen is weak right now. That's how we got pushed up with the GJ and also with the Asia that Curtis was talking about earlier. I think Lisa's still gone. She said be right back. So we'll go back to it as Lisa comes back. So let's see. I'm gonna go down the list again. If you guys have any questions or you guys want us to analyze anything, feel free to put it down in the chat. And then once we get to it, we'll take a look. So I really want us to look at NZD CAD. So we got looks like the overall trend, it's pretty indecisive if we're looking on 4 time frames. But on the 30-minute, it looks like it has a buy bias. Let's look at a technical to see the bias is on here. All right, cool. So for NZD CAD on the daily, it looks like it's a buy. On the 4 hour, it's also a buy. And on the 1 hour. So if you're taking the NZD CAD, I want to take buy positions. If you were to get a buy signal, I would take it. Yeah, it looks like right here too. If you took this buy entry, you made a lot of pips off this one. Shot up nearly 100 pips. It's pretty good. So if we do get another buy entry, then I'd probably take it. Right now I had a buy entry, but it was a bearish candle, so that's why we didn't really look at it. We usually let them to match up like it did right here. But yeah, if you're in NZD CAD with a buy position, I think you'd be in a good spot. If you're in a sell, it might retrace a little bit, but I don't think it's going to go any farther than this swing low right here. It looks like the swing low is already established right here. So if you look at it from this perspective, it'll be like a smaller trend within. And I probably see it shooting up from down here. And that's all speculation. So unless you have a strategy you're following, I think it's going to move upwards. Especially because the technicals demonstrate a pretty strong buy bias. That's how I see it for NZD CAD. Let's see what we got next. Go on to GA. So let's pull a GA right now. GA looks like a sell. Parallel channel right here. I'm not sure where that. It's a big bearish channel right there. It's gapped up. I'm not sure if there was news.
Damn.
Here, can you check the
Yeah, I got you right now.
yeah, we got a couple. We got GCAD, EA, GA, GN, AC, NC.
Yeah, they're all invalid.
It's all good.
Unless you want to call a pullback, but if the pullback is going to be close to support. I mean, or close to resistance.
You know, the pound is like gaining a lot of strength right now. Like right now, it had this big breakout.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's crazy. It broke out like 50 pips.
Damn.
So something's going on. There's something going on with the GBP right now. It's causing all the GBP pairs to shoot up. I'll pull it up on the technicals to see what the overall bias is.
Let's see how is this looking.
So it's got an overall buy on the daily. Yeah, it's super indecisive. I don't know why is there a buy on the daily. It looks like it should be a sell because most of the shorter time frames are on a sell. I think that only happened because of that random breakout right there. But if we're looking on the smaller time frames, except the 5 minute, that's only shown because we have this huge breakout right here. But more accurate analysis of the overall trend is in a sell for intraday. So, yeah, I don't know what caused this gap up right here. Let's see if there's any news. Might be some news.
It's cranking.
It just looks like there was an update. the coronavirus, I guess the stats, I'm assuming it's probably good news for GDP. It's trying to push up. But I think due to the news, I probably would just stay away from this pair right now. Unless you're in a buy. If you're in a buy, then yeah, it'd be cool. But I don't think it's really going to be a safe pair to mainstream with a lot. So let me see. Yeah, like about, let's see. Only been a couple minutes since this candle opened. Oh, shit. Aaron, are you looking at this?
That's just crazy, bro. I don't know what's going on with that. That's how many pips is that, bro? It's still shooting up. Damn.
Over 100 already.
Oh, what?
Wow. Hey, that was, man.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Wow, that's crazy.
Mm.
Over 100 pips, almost. About to be.
Wow. But if you look on, look at AUD USD. On a 2-hour time frame, it's kind of retesting that broken resistance. So,
Bro, it doesn't make sense because GA is shooting up, but GJ just pulled back. It's weird.
It did.
Oh,
that is kind of weird.
because all the G, yeah, that's weird. Because it's not moving. It's not moving up for all the pairs. So GJ and GU is kind of pulling down, but all the other GBP pairs are shooting up. And they're not.
Marwin is trying to get inside the chat.
I think I let everyone in. Is he still trying to get in? Marlon. Oh, he's in here now. I think Marlon. Yeah, I see the chat. He's in there. Cool. So yeah, I'm not sure what caused this gap up. Looks like there was some coronavirus stats that were released about 19 minutes ago. That might have caused that might have been the catalyst that shot this up. So I'm not sure if you're in a buy or a sell. Were you in a buy or a sell, or are you just looking at it? Because obviously it looks like it's in a pretty nice downtrend, but due to that news release, yeah, that's crazy. It shot up a lot, 100 pips. Oh, you're just looking at it? Yeah, I'd probably stay out of it for a while until it stabilizes. Because what could happen now is due to this big push, it's probably going to return back downwards, unless this causes it to reverse upwards. But yeah, I would just keep watching it. I wouldn't take any signals. Maybe even if you got a valid K2 sell signal, I probably wouldn't enter it right now. Just because of this movement. Because like now that there's a huge gap, it's gonna have to fill the gap or reverse. So it's like a 100 pip gap. So you can expect there to be a lot of manipulation during this point, depending if the market makers are, if they're in a sell, they're obviously gonna push it back down. Unless this was their move and they're trying to reverse the pair right now. But it doesn't line up with the other GBP pairs, so I'd probably stay away from it. If they were all pushing up, then yeah, I would take it, or I would jump in for a buy. But it's not really moving up for every pair. So it's moving up for GA, GC, and GBP, CHF. But for GJ, it kind of pulled back. That was a little unusual. Yeah, so for GJ and GU, it pulled back, and it's not following the other GBP pairs. So I'd probably just hang tight on that one, especially because this one moves super fast. Like you can see GA move like 120 pips per candle. It's a big movement right here. Yeah, that's crazy. I'd probably just stay away from it for a bit. All right, let's see. I'm gonna go down the list again. So we went over GA. Andy wants us to look at gold. So let's check out gold. We were talking about this earlier too, me and Aaron and Curtis. Personally, I wouldn't take any gold right now. You can see it's in a pretty strong consolidation. So what could happen here is it can go, it can go either way. You can either, you'll be stuck where it's not moving, but randomly it could either shoot up really high or shoot down really low. Let's see what the overall bias is. gold right now. So gold. They don't have the technicals of gold for some reason. Yeah, so let's look at it in the chart. You can see here it's stuck in between this consolidation point, which is for about here, and this would be 100 pips, right, for gold?
See, yeah, it's 100 pips.
Yeah. So it's ranging between 100 pips. So depending on how big your lot size is, and this could literally make or break your account if it breaks out. But it's super neutral right now, so there's no real bias. Let's look on the higher time frame. Yeah, it's still consolidating on the 1 hour. Yeah, on the 4 hour, it might be trending up, or it's not really trending. But if you're looking at no, I broke the trend line. Yeah, gold is like super indecisive right now. And you can see from the wicks too, every time it tries to break out, it just gets pushed back in. So I tried to shoot up right here, but it didn't allow it to push out, so it came back in. So it's literally been trying to fight out of this range for a long time now. Try to get down here as it tests the support. So it'll probably just keep running down the middle and keep fighting its way out until it actually makes its way out. But I think once it does break its way out, so if it breaks out in one direction and then it closes like it did right here, you can probably anticipate it to continue in that direction because it's been ranging for so long. Let's see, it's been ranging for about, yeah, for a whole day now. So this entire day it's been in a range. So I think you should probably just wait for it to break out. Once it breaks out, just wait for it to confirm. Like it did. Let me try to find an example of confirm. So maybe it confirms some over here. Yeah, so you can see here, this is the last time it ranged. It ranged like crazy right here until it broke out. See how it broke out right here? You see a movement like this where it breaks out and then it confirms down below. You can anticipate it to shoot down as it did right there. It went down for a while. And that's probably the same thing that's going to happen right here. So once it breaks out, it's probably going to, if it breaks out downwards, it'll probably come up to retest. And then if there's confirmation, it'll shoot back down. Same with if it breaks out this way. If it breaks out upwards, comes back to retest, and then shoot upwards. So that'd be the pattern that I'd be looking for. So I'd probably just wait for it to break one of these areas. If you want to get these numbers down, the resistance that we have is 1654.91, and then the support is 1644.25. And that's the support resistance that was plotted by our K2SR indicator. And it basically, what it does is it plots the strongest support resistance 100 candles back, which you can adjust to. I mean, if you want to look back farther, you can go back 1,000 candles, or you can go back even farther. I think the farthest it goes is at 4,999. And then you'll see it adjust over time. So this goes back 4,999 candles, and it gives you the strongest support resistance on the chart. And as you can see, it got a little tighter. So generally, yeah, this would be the strong barriers that are holding it in consolidation right now. Switch it back to 100. All right, cool. So let's see what we got next. Samir says, does it adjust for different time frames? Yeah. So right now we have the 30-minute. For on the 1 hour. That's what it is on the 1 hour. If you go on the 4 hour, see it's a little wider. 8 hour. And the daily. So it adjusts for every time frame. And as price moves, it'll adjust as well. So if we were, I'll show you guys how it works. So if we're back here, and then this is the support and resistance. You can see as price moves and breaks out of it, it automatically adjusts. So you'll always know where, you know, the strongest support resistance is, and then you'll know where price is going to be rejecting. And it does it all automatically, so you're able to identify support resistance right away without actually doing anything. And then when it breaks out like that, you can check other time frames to see where support resistance is there. But over time, it just automatically adjusts for you. And then there's where it's at now. All right, cool. I'm gonna go down the list again. So last one we looked at was gold for Andy. Next, Hassan to look at EG. I think EG is last time I looked at EG, it was like consolidating. We'll take a look. Looks like it broke out a little bit actually. So if we're looking at it from here, it looks like it's in a downtrend. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna draw a channel up here.
Excuse me.
Looks like it's in a downtrend right here. I'm gonna add the K2 indicator to it. So it looks like the overall trend, the K2 trend meter is down here. If you guys don't know what the K2 trend meter does, it basically gives you the overall trend on 4 different time frames. So I have it set to intraday settings, which is the 30-minute, 1 hour, 2 hour, 4 hour. If you want to change it to, you know, look on the daily, look on the shorter time frames if you're scalping, you can do that too. But I like to see an overall picture of how the trend is moving for intraday since we trade on the 30 minutes. Right now, the trend meter is showing that it has a bearish bias. I'm going to look on the overalls here just to get an extra confirmation. So if you're looking at technicals, EG, yeah, for the daily, it has a sell bias. Same with the 4 hour. The strong sell for moving averages, but the oscillator is a buy, so it's a little iffy. But if you go down to the 1 hour, it's on a very strong sell. So if you're taking an EG position, I definitely would take a sell. Looks like we had a valid sell entry right here. So if we did want to enter this trade, you could have entered right there, and then it would be active right now. But due to the fact that we're in Asia session, it's going to be moving really slow. So we're probably not going to see any real movement until maybe about 4 hours from now, once it gets closer to London Open. And then we can probably see that shoot down, possibly to test the support. And since the bias is a strong sell in the 1 hour, a sell on the 4 hour, and a sell on the daily, we could probably anticipate it to shoot down even farther and break support if it's to follow through. If it does pull back, it might pull back and test the trend line, and I anticipate to shoot back down to the overall trend. So if you're in a sell, I think you're in a good position. If you're in a buy, I'd probably get out with profit if possible. But that's what I see going on for EG on the 30-minute. Then go on the higher time frames to see if it's any different. On the 1 hour, it looks exactly how we drew up. On the 4 hour, it looks like it's getting close to support, which is about 16 pips. So if you are in a sell, then I'd probably move your stop loss and profit as it moves farther down. It looks like it's in a pretty strong, that's a pretty strong support right there. So let me draw this line here. So this is the 8 hour support. The daily is pretty far down. So if it breaks that point, it could probably shoot farther. But just looking at this, so this is the 8 hour support. The 4 hour support's on the same line. So usually if the support is the same on 2 different time frames, especially if they're pretty wide, like the 4 hour and the 8 hour, the 4 hour difference. So if they're on the same, also for the 2 hour, the 1 hour is a little bit above it. And the 30-minute is even a little bit higher. So this is going to be a strong support zone right here. So if you're in this position, I'd probably move your stop loss, somewhere around here and profit. So as it moves down, if it does reject off this point, which it probably will, because it's a strong support on so many different time frames, it'll probably reject off here. So if it does reject, you get stopped down profit, and then if you want to re-enter, just re-enter later. But that'd be a good look out for. So this zone right here, it looks like a strong support zone. So I'm pretty sure it's going to reject off this area once it comes down. And then if you want to see what that area is going to be around 0.87460. Let me see. I'm going to go down, see if there's any other. All right, cool. So I'm going to go down the list again. So we answered Hassan's request for EG. Next, Andy wants us to look at S&P 500. So let me pull that up. S&P, there we go. So S&P on the 30-minute looks like it's in a strong bullish uptrend, similar with all the other indices. So if we map this out, the reason why I pulled back here, looks like it tested resistance for a double, if not triple top, because it tested it over here. Yeah, it tested it right there, tested it again right here, and then it tested it for a third or fourth time right here as well. So it's probably going to come down. See what the overall technicals are for S&P. So we don't have a technical setup for S&P, but it looks like it's going to retrace. Looks like it had a really nice bullish run from back here from the 5th. So from the 5th, the overall trend's been green. It looks like it moved up pretty high. So from the low down here, up here, it moved up about 3,000 pips. So it looks like it's about due for a retracement. So what might happen right here? It looks like it's gonna repeat what happened over here. So it's probably gonna come down midway, and then it'll probably retrace up, just like it did right here, before it comes down for a big drop. And it looks like it's about time for that drop anyways, because I was waiting for the indices to drop. And it looks like it's about time. So if we match that up with the US 30, same exact pattern here, except it didn't come up to test the resistance far enough. So it looks like this is a pretty strong zone right here. So we can probably see that dropping even further. So yeah, if I'm going to be entering any scalps for US 30, I'm probably going to be taking some sells. Yeah, actually, if we took this sell right here, this would have been good. I should have taken this one right here. Yeah, TP would have hit for 1,313 pips. So yeah, if you're looking at indices, I probably wouldn't take any buys right now, even though it has a bullish bias, due to the fact that it tested this resistance up here about 3 or 4 times. It looks like it's about time for it to come down. Been pushing up for a long time. So if you are taking indices, yeah, for not just S&P, but S&P, NASDAQ, it's like the same thing happened here. 1, 2, 3, like a triple top right here. So testing once, twice, and then a third time. So same with NASDAQ, looks like it's coming down. Yep, same with US 30. All right, cool. So that gives you a quick overview of indices. So if you are trading indices right now, I make sure to probably not take any buys if possible. All right, let me see. I'm going to go down the list again. Next up, we got C6 said that maybe Boris is feeling better. Probably.
Good one.
Yeah, I know. He was in the ICU. It's crazy. Oh, that's exactly what happened. Like when the news came out that he was in the ICU, like the pound like dropped like crazy. And I was like, wow. I was like a huge catalyst. It's like, yeah, Patria asked if everyone got stopped out at even for the DJ. I did. So what happened was when I entered this, I moved my stop loss and profit once it hit TP1, slightly above profit, slightly above the entry. So I put my stop loss around this area. So as it pulled back down, I got stopped out. If you guys took profit at TP1, then you would have, how many pips was there in 20 pips?
25 pips.
25, yeah. So if you guys took TP if you guys exit at TP1, you would have made 25 pips. If you're using the exit strategy, then you either would have gotten out, at break even, or if you're using the K2 exit strategy, then usually move it up to 25%. So you probably would have got out somewhere around here, halfway to the first TP, which was right there. So if we measure that, yeah, you would have locked in about 12 pips. It's not that bad. So depending on which exit strategy you're using, if you're using the K2 exit strategy or if you're using the signal exit strategy, then you either would have gotten out at break even or at 25%. So let me see what happened. I don't even know what happened. Earlier when we looked at it, it looked like there was some Corona news about 30 minutes ago. I'm not sure how much that would affect the pair though. So let me let's check out the news. So on FX Empire, it says European equities.
What?
Majors. So I'm just gonna
Hold on, John. 1 second.
go here. It doesn't really have any. I mean, it has the percentage movements for secure stocks, but it doesn't really. It's like mixed. Yeah, there's no specific news that affected it. It just pulled back really hard for whatever reason. I mean, that happens. It probably just pushed up too heavy, and then it had to correct down to fill the gap. But looking at GA, it's weird because looking at the other GBP pairs, they're all pushing upwards. Actually, no, they're all coming back down now. So they were pushing up earlier when we first got on this call, but now they're all retracing back. So it looks like the GBP is actually losing strength because you can see here for GA, it shot up about over 100 pips. Yeah, about over 100 pips. And then now it's retracing backwards to correct the overall trend, which is a bear bias. Yeah, good thing if you guys moved your stop loss and profit for GJ, because it's pretty uncertain now what's going to happen. I'm not sure if it's going to keep shooting up. The overall trend is still upwards, so what might happen here is since it tested the support resistance right here, it'll probably shoot back up. But just to be safe, I would probably exit and then we can re-enter at a later time. But yeah, I'm not really sure what happened with that. I don't really see any news for it either, so. Over to GJ.
Yeah, AU looks like a nice clean break and retest.
Oh, is it AU?
Nice one. You looking at 1 hour time frame?
It didn't really look like there was anything that was really.
Well, it could possibly shoot up like 60 more pips or 70 more pips. Then plus tomorrow we have USD news. So yeah, I can see AU shooting up 60 to 70 more pips.
You're talking about AU?
Mm-hmm.
It looks like it's correcting back upwards. So if you're still in the trade, I would now move your stop loss and profit, either break even or slightly in profit, just in case anything else happens. But if you need profit, then you're fine. You can probably re-enter later. I'd re-enter later once there's more confirmation that it's going to keep shooting upwards. But right now it's a little uncertain. I'm not sure what's going on with GBP right now.
It's a nice rejection so far.
Yeah, I mean it's a rejection in both opposite ways. Like GA rejected from the top, but GJ rejected from the bottom. So I'm not really sure what's going on with GBP. It's a little indecisive right now. So yeah, Aaron, you're looking at AU.
If you turn the SR on for the 1 hour time frame, it's a clean break and retest.
Rejected like directly off the trend line. About 12.
Go to the 1 hour real fast. Yeah.
Oh, rejected perfectly off the
channel. That's like double confirmation right there.
Yeah, exactly. But it looks like it's still coming back down. So let's go ahead and see what the bias is for the year. So if we're looking at AU, it looks like on the daily, it has a sell bias. On the 4 hour, it's a buy bias. Yeah, it's pretty uncertain. I probably wouldn't look down on the 15 because that's too short of a time frame. But if you look at the 1 hour, it has a strong buy. 4 hour, it's also a strong buy. But on the daily, it's a sell. So it's a little bit of a toss-up. I think that only happened because of this move right here. I think if this wasn't a strong bearish candle, then it probably would all say buy. But yeah, it's close to a 40 pip move down. So we could probably anticipate this to, I mean, we need more confirmation because it rejected right off the, well, it looks like it rejected off the resistance up here, came down, retested the trend line. So it's probably going to shoot back up. But if price is to break the resistance right here, it'll probably shoot up pretty heavy. So if you're in this trade or if you're looking to enter this trade, I think this would be a good area for you to watch, just the support area. So if it breaks above, then it'd probably be swing for a bullish move. But if it rejects back downwards, it'll probably come back down and test the support down here. So a good price point to look out for is going to be 0.62454. If you have access to the K2 indicators, you'll have the K2SR, so you'll know exactly where to look out for. All right, I'm going to go down the list and see if there's anything else. So I'm just looking down at the bottom. Tyler's asking, are most of your trades placed directly with from TradingView? Yeah, so I have my forex.com linked to this account, my TradingView account. So I trade directly on here. If I want to, enter a trade here, I'll just right click, and then I'll just enter a trade. And then the smallest lot size I can take is a standard lot, so I can't put anything less than 100,000 units. If I try to do anything below that, 90,000, it won't let me. I could only go with 100,000 enough.
Let's see what's that.
Eric, can you check those alerts real quick?
Yeah, I'll check right now.
Yeah, we got a lot.
I didn't get any. What the hell?
I think they're all indices. Yeah, so we got some indices. Platinum. I don't know if you guys trade platinum. But platinum.
I got UCAD. That's about it. I'm getting everything so late for some reason.
Yeah, so we have a signal for U.S. oil. It's not a valid entry though. The trend meter doesn't match. It's going to be hard to find something that matches right now, but it's in consolidation anyways. So I wouldn't have entered that. NU has you kind of have an entry here. This is a valid entry for pullback. What do you think about this, Aaron?
I'm checking it right now. Oh, my bad. I'm checking on my charts. 1 second. Let me just go.
So right here.
It's cool, but we don't like, it's too close to resistance, so we don't want it to trigger, then it reject and bounce off it and hit stop loss.
Yeah, it looks like it's on resistance too. So this is the 1 hour resistance. It's gonna mark it. Yeah, it has the same resistance on the 2 hour. You can see there, the red line's right there too. Also, 4 hours a little bit higher. So if it doesn't break that, it's gonna reject at some point a little higher above. Same with the 8 hour. I think the 8 hour and the 4 hour have the same resistance. So yeah, the 1 hour. 2-hour and the 30-minute have nearly the same resistance. So this is going to be a strong rejection point. So yeah, even though we have this is a valid pullback entry right here for K2, we're not going to call it due to all these resistance in the vicinity. So it's about, yeah, and it's pretty close too. It's 7 pips away. So we're definitely not going to enter this trade. It's a little too risky. So we'll skip that. We got another one for UCAD. So generally, if I'm looking for this trade, I'm looking for a signal. Right here, we have a buy signal. The trend meter is neutral right now. It's pretty indecisive. When it's blue, that means that there's no overall trend upwards or downwards. So usually during the time, I try not to enter anything. But due to the current market conditions, we usually just draw the trend lines manually, so we can still take trades. It doesn't really look like it's in a downtrend. It looks like it's more so in consolidation right now. So UCAD looks like it's moving sideways. Let's see how far the support to resistance. It's about 87 pips, so it's a pretty big range. Personally, I wouldn't enter UCAD right now. I'd wait for some more confirmation. At least enough to where you could draw, proper trend lines. Because if you're drawing the trend line from the bottom, price has already broken the trend line, the channel. If you go on to the 1 hour, it's the same thing. Yeah. So price has broken the trend line on the downtrend. Price has also broken the trend line on the uptrend. So I'd stay away from UCAD right now until there's more confirmation. We can even look at it trading view and see what they say. So you can see what their technicals look like. So on the daily, looks like it's in a light buy. The oscillator is neutral, and the daily and the overall moving average it's like a light buy. So I wouldn't take that. Yeah, it looks like all the time frames kind of contradict each other. On the 1 hour, it has a light buy. The 4 hour, it's a light sell, but it looks like it's going to be a strong sell if the oscillator moves to the left. And it's just neutral overall. So I wouldn't enter a UCAD right now if you guys are looking at it. Let me go down the list and see what else. I'm going to see what else you guys want us to look at. So we looked at S&P. We looked at GJ. Dilraj said that all the odd pairs dropped. Oh yeah, it looks like they're correcting now after that bullish move. So odd CAD looks like it's coming down. Odd CHF same. Odd JPY same. And odd NZ same. AU. This is what we were looking at right now, right, Aaron?
I believe so. Yep.
Yeah. So yeah, this is a strong support area right here. I think that's what we drew earlier. So I don't think it's gonna shoot up at all. I think it's gonna come down. So I think once price breaks this trend line and then confirms the bearish move down, I think it's just gonna keep pushing downwards. We got a scalp signal for US 30. Looks like it's coming down. So I probably wouldn't take any buys for US 30 right now. So it looks like it's starting to make a shift downwards. Yeah. Looks like there's a lot of selling going on here. Not sure if you guys are looking at US 30, but I personally wouldn't take it right now. Yeah, I don't know if Curtis is still in here. It's all good. All right, I'm gonna go down the list. Let's see what else do you guys want. Odd CAD. Actually, let's look at odd CAD. If you guys have any other pairs you guys want us to look at, just feel free to put them in the chat, and then we'll get to them once we get down the list. So for odd CAD, looks like all odd pairs are moving downwards. Let's look at what the overall bias is for Let's see. Podcasts, some technicals. On the daily, it has a light buy. The 4 hours the same. The 1 hour is the same. But on the shorter time frame, it's obviously a sell because of that big move down. I think these are they're gonna follow eventually because it looks like it's now in a downtrend or slightly until there's extra confirmation. So if we still measured it from down here, technically it's still being an uptrend if it corrects back upwards. But it looks like for the short-term trend right now, they're all swinging down. I'm not sure what's going on with the news, but it looks like the Australian dollar is starting to lose its strength after this move up. Looks like it's going to fill a gap. So let's look on the daily, or on the 8 hour actually. And so it's gapped up. Looks like it's going to retrace a little bit. Let's look on the daily to see if there's. Yeah, I mean it had a pretty strong push upwards. So from 2 days ago, it pushed up, approximately 257 pips. So I think it's about time for it to retrace. So we could probably expect this to come down a bit. Looks like it hit a high right here. Let's see if there's any higher points. Oh yeah, actually looks like it hit a double top right there. So if you look at this, it's a pretty clear double top. So I definitely see it shooting down from this point. So yeah, you guys can expect this to come down a bit further. So if you are an odd CAD, if you're in it for a buy, I probably would get rid of it because it looks like it's coming down from here. I mean, it doesn't necessarily mean this is exactly what's going to happen, but for the most part, it looks like it's coming down. So we probably see this trend change by tomorrow. So we'll go down the list. Let's see what else we got here. All right, next from CT, we got GJ. I think we looked at that earlier, but let's pull it up again because we have a position open for that anyways. Yeah, so like we discussed earlier, it looks like the pound is losing its strength. Yeah, you can see here too, we looked at GA earlier. It shot up approximately 100 pips, and then it came back down after it rejected, dropped another close to 50 pips. So it looks like the pound is losing its strength. I'm not sure what caused that bullish breakout earlier because it shot up, about 100 pips on GA. But on all the other pairs, we already hit CP1 for GJ. If you guys were following the exit strategy like I discussed earlier, then you would have stopped out in profit. And then we can probably re-enter later if we want to. But yeah, GA and GU are all shooting down. Looks like it hit resistance and it came down. Aaron, we didn't enter this GU, right?
No, we never caught it.
Yeah, I think we were looking at it, but it was during the spread. That's why we didn't take it. But yeah, GJ looks like it's coming down. I'm not sure how long it will come down for. It looks like it's going to come down and possibly test the support right here. And then probably correct back upwards. Because I think we were looking at it on let's see what the overall bias is for GJ. So for GJ, on the daily, it has a overall buy bias. On 4 hour, it's still a strong buy on the moving averages. You can see it's a strong buy on all of them, except for the whole. On the 1 hour, it's also a strong buy. Yeah, everything still shows a pretty strong buy. So I'm anticipating this to just test the support right here and shoot up. So if you guys got stopped out in profit, if you took our signal in the premium, I don't think we shared this in the public yet, but in the premium we hit TP1. If you got stopped out in profit, you can put a buy stop right here and then catch the ride back up. Looks like it's about to fill again if you guys are trying to re-enter. Otherwise, I would just hang on if you're still in it. And once it does move in profit, then I would move your stop loss in profit as soon as possible, just in case, you know, something weird happens here. The pound's been moving a little weird today, so I'd be careful. Because, yeah, GA right here looks like it's correcting back. Looks like it's pretty much correcting back to where it was supposed to go. So you can see here, too, GBP CHF. It's also correcting. It has an overall uptrend, according to the trend meter down here. Same with GJ, overall uptrend. Looks like it rejected off the support, and it's going to shoot back up. GN. GN doesn't have an overall trend. But GU also has an overall trend. So it looks like it's still coming down a little bit, but I think it's going to correct back upwards as it follows GJ and GA. All right, cool. Yeah, CT said we're good. So yeah, I think it's going to come back up. So if you guys are still in it, you guys are fine. Just give it some time for it to breathe and shoot back upwards. So let me go down the list again. We just covered GJ. Isai is asking what broker do I use. I use forex.com. I also use TD Ameritrade when I trade the bigger account. But on my personal account where I trade daily, it is forex.com. You can see right here, I have it linked. So whenever I do take a trade, it'll be directly on TradingView. So if I wanted to take this trade right here, I would just right click and then enter a sell trade. If I wanted to market, limit or stop. So I'm gonna go down the list. Tyler said, what are your trades? Oh no, I answered that already earlier. So if you want to, if you're using MT4, I know a lot of people here do use MT4. So once you set up the trade, so say if you're entering this GJ call that we sent earlier. So in order to set this up, once we have a valid entry where the K2 matches and it gets for a valid K2 entry. So if the K2 signal is green and it matches the K2 trend meter down here for the original strategy, I would zoom out, use the long tool to determine, you know, where the entry would be, and it would be right there. So that's how I would get the TP and stop loss. And basically all I do is I'll enter these parameters into MT4. So this would be the entry price, the TP, and then the stop loss. And then you can just monitor your trade, you know, directly from TradingView or on your MT4 device. It's just really up to you. But yeah, for the most part, this is how most people enter their trades if they're going to be entering a trade on MT4, because the K2 indicators only work on TradingView. So let's see, CSUK, GBP CHF just retraced. Oh yeah, it looks like you're in that for a buy. So yeah, it looks like it's still going to shoot back up. It looks like I said earlier, they're all correcting back upwards. It has an overall buy bias on the trend mirror for 4 time frames. And then if we look at the charts for the overall trends, I'll go to GC. I'll go to technicals. And yeah, it has a pretty strong buy bias. So on the daily, it's a light buy. On the 4 hour, it's a strong buy. And on the hourly, it's a strong buy too. So I think you're good. If you're still in that GC trade, it looks like it's coming up right now actually. So how many pips is it from resistance? It's about 18 pips. So you can move that up as it gets closer to the resistance. You can move your stop loss up. Getting notifications. People like the ideas. All right, cool. Yeah. So for GC, I think it's gonna back upwards. So if you're in that, you should be fine. I would just move your stop loss and profit when you get a chance. Let me keep going down. So Lisa said UJ and ESP35. C6 its spread is at dang 52. That's a lot. 5.2 or 52? It might be 5.2 because 52. Oh no, actually, depending on your broker, it might be really high because I'm on a DMA and my spread's like 4 pips or less than 4, like 3 or 4 pips. So it might be 5.2. That make more sense. All right, let me go back to the list. So yeah, Lisa wanted us to look at EJ. If we looked at it earlier, but let's go over it again. So for the trend meter down below, we don't have an overall trend. Looks like I already drew a trend line here because we might have looked at it a little earlier. Looks like it's in an overall, not an overall uptrend, but a short-term uptrend. Let's look at the technicals on different time frames. So UJ. Yeah, UJ on the daily, it's a light buy. 4 hour, it's also a light buy. They're kind of conflicting because the moving averages demonstrate a strong buy. Looks like it's trending upwards on all the moving averages. But on the oscillators, it looks like it's pretty neutral across the board, aside from the momentum and MACD oscillator to sell on the 4 hour. But it looks like overall, it has a buy bias. So it lines up with our trend line, but it is at resistance. So what might happen here is, depending on how strong this resistance is, it looks like it's pretty strong because it's rejected off this point a lot. It might come back down, test the trend line, and then correct back upwards, depending on where news pushes it. I think there might be some news coming up, not heavy news, but some medium news. But yeah, I probably wouldn't enter a UJ until it breaks out. So I'd probably, I still see it having a bullish move since it has a buy bias for the daily, 4 hour and 1 hour. So what I would wait for is I would wait for it to break the resistance, and then as soon as it breaks, I would wait for it to confirm. So I'd probably retest, and then once it confirms, then I can see it shooting upwards. So yeah, at that point, then I would take a buy. Otherwise, it's kind of in a tough spot right here. Depending on how strong this resistance is, it might come back down and retrace before it shoots back upwards. So yeah, if you guys are looking at UJ, then I would definitely hang on until you get some more confirmation. Let's see, Lisa also wanted us to look at what's the list at? Oh, ESP 35. So I think ESP is the Spanish index. There you go. So yeah, the Spanish index moves a little different from the other indices. It looks like it's in consolidation right now, actually. Within this range. Yeah, it looks like it's moving pretty slow. So, yeah, so it's only moving about 30 pips. I'm not sure how this normally moves because I don't trade it, but I do have zero spread on it. So I'm not sure if that 20 pips is a lot or if it's a lot. I mean, if it's a lot or if it's little for this specific index. I think this is what Curtis trades. Hey, Aaron, didn't we go over this earlier, I think, with Curtis? Let's see. But I don't think they have the technical setup for ESP because it's not really a popular pair that's traded. Yeah, so there's no overall bias for it. But if we're looking at the 30-minute, it looks like it's in a range. It's kind of hard to draw trend lines from what we have here, because technically it could be in a downtrend, or it could be in an uptrend as well. If we drew it this way. So if that's the case, then it looks like it's entering either a descending triangle or a ascending triangle, depending on where it breaks out. So I think once it gets to this area right here, once it breaks this point, it can either shoot upwards or shoot downwards. But personally, I think it's still in the range. So I probably wouldn't trade this index right now. I'm sure it'll catch some movement once we get closer to London. But it looks like at this point in time, it's like super indecisive, and there's not really a direction that's been established. I mean, if we go even on the smaller time frames, it looks like it could even be in an uptrend. Like that. But this pair doesn't really look like there's much movement going on. Yeah, actually, yeah. If you look on the 15-minute, it looks like it's in a slight uptrend. Not very strong. But for the most part, it's in a range. So I'd probably just hold off on that if you're in that Lisa, or if not, I'd probably just keep watching it, because I'm not sure if you could even scalp this, depending on how much each pip is worth. So yeah, I'd probably hold off on that for now. Let me go down the list further. Elisa said just watching ESP. Yeah, it looks like it's. Let me see. I can't even check how much it's worth on mine. But I think Curtis was saying that it was pretty pricey too. He said it was pricey, but it was also it runs a little smoother, I guess, so it's like easier to follow. But it does look like it's a little pricey. It might be similarly priced to the German index. I know the German index costs a lot too, but they're not really moving similar. Yeah, this is definitely in a range right now. I hold off on that. All right, cool. Let's keep going down the list. So next we've got NU from CT. Go to NU. I think we looked at this earlier. Let's look at it again. So let's see. On the KT trend meter, we have an overall uptrend on 4 different time frames. I have it for intraday settings: 30-minute, 1 hour, 2 hour, and 4 hour. Now let's look at NU on the overall technicals. So for the overall technicals, we have for the daily, it's in a light sell. It looks like the oscillators are moving opposite from the moving averages. On 4 hour, it's a very strong buy overall. And it's kind of indecisive on the 1 hour. The oscillators are showing a sell, while the moving averages are showing a buy. So depending on how deep you are in this trade, it looks like that's weird. Yeah, short term would probably be a buy, but it looks like it did hit some resistance up here. Yeah, I think we were looking at this earlier, because I think we were talking about how there was a lot of it was a big resistance area up here. So yeah, I drew that line for the 1 hour resistance. It's the same as the 2 hour. It's a little close to the 4 hour, so I'll probably draw a zone around this area right here, since there's that's the resistance for the 1 hour to 4 hour. Same with 8 hour, has the same point. And I think the dailies is pretty spread out, so it has a lot of movement. CT is P short. Pull up your chart. Oh yeah, you have the same zone as we do. So I think you're shoot the big zone on a 30-minute, even on the 1 hour. But yeah, it looks like a pretty big rejection zone right here. I mean, if you want to push all the way up, but I think it's fine to just, look at it from right there. We have the same zone area right there, so I definitely see it coming down. It's kind of weird though, because I'm 4 hour to buy, the 1 hour to buy. But I mean, the daily's a sell, so it looks like it might be correcting back downwards. Because if you look on the shorter time frame, like the 5 minute, not 5 minute, but the 15 minute, it's a sell across the board. I mean, it's super indecisive, so we're probably going to see it come down. It's probably just going to take some time, because it looks like it's having some resistance in both directions. But I do see it coming down, just like how you drew from there. Yeah, and you drew that on 30 minute too, so let's see, I'm going to go down to the 30. Actually, that makes more sense on the 30 because it did reject off the right here. So yeah, I do agree with your idea. Looks good. So I might look into this too later. I might just put like a sell stop order somewhere down here, just so I don't get in too early. And then probably write it down. So current prices up here. So if we measure that, it's about 20 pips, 18 to 20 pips from where the entry point could be. But if it does do that, it'll probably establish a lower high. So we have a high up here, a low right here, and then a lower high. Then it'll probably just keep establishing another low down here, and as it keeps going down. But yeah, that's a good analysis. I do agree with that. So if you have that active, I think that'd be a good trade. Carlos said he has to wake up in 3.5 hours. All right, Carlo, we'll see you tomorrow. Let's see, CT said I've got stops tight, so. Yeah, it does look sideways right here. Just like where it is recently. So it looks like it's trying to break out of it. But it does look like it's going to move sideways during Asia and the Aussie session. And that's why I would have put my my sell stop down here. So once it breaks this, this little range, it'll probably shoot down. So probably in a couple hours, it's 7:30 right now. So maybe about like 4 or 5 hours once London opens, or once we get closer to London, we probably see some real movement. And if it does come down, I think it definitely would shoot down even further. So yeah, it's a good analysis. And if you have your stop loss on pretty tight, I think you should be perfectly fine. Let's see what else we got here. Keep going down. So Abigail wants us to look at EA. Let's pull up EA. Actually, let me check this alert real quick. I think it's a US 30 scalp. So if we were to enter this, if you guys follow my scalping strategy, we got a bunch of. Aaron, can you help me look at these?
I'm checking right now.
See, so if you were to scalp US 30 right here, I barely moved. Yeah, I wouldn't be scalping anything right now for indices. During Asia, it moves really slow. So it looks like once we got into Asia right here, it's going to be consolidation. So I'm going to hold off on these scalps for now until we get some more volatility in the market. Let's go over to EA. Abigail, she wants us to check out EA. We got it over here. Looks like on the trend meter, it has an overall sell bias. If we were to chart it ourselves, looks like matches up perfectly. There you go. So there goes our our channel right there. Let's look at the overall technicals for EA. So for EA on the daily, it has a light buy. On the 4 hour, it's a super strong sell. It's a light sell on the 1 hour. So I'd say overall, it has a pretty strong sell bias. Even on our own trend lines down here, we have a strong sell as well. Look on the higher time frames, 1 hour. Yeah, it's definitely in a sell. So if you have a sell position with EA right now, I think you should be in a good spot. I'll go back to the 30-minute. This actually might be a good sell for K2 pullback right here. Hey, Aaron, did you look at this already? I think we looked at this earlier, didn't
For which one?
we? EA.
Yeah, I think we did.
I think we looked at it. I think there was something wrong. So let's see. Let's see if there's a support that's nearby. It's kind of far on the 1 hour. It's pretty far on the 2 hour. 4 hours still pretty far. So yeah, the closest closest support on the 8 hour is way down there. So if you do have a sell, I think you should be fine. So like what I did right here was if we're entering, a K2 sell stop right here, this would be a pullback entry. If you guys don't understand how the K2 pullback entries work, I'll show you guys an example. So so right now this is a sell bias. If I was to enter a sell, I'd have my sell stop right here. But I'll show you guys how the K2 pullback strategy works. So we'll go back over here. So if you guys have access to the K2 strategy, it's real simple. You have, let me type it up for you guys. Yeah, so we have the K2 pullback strategy. And 1, we need a K2 signal present. 2, K2 trend meter does not match signal. Red, green. Lastly, price isn't within 10, 15 pips. K2 SR. So these are the requirements for the K2 pullback strategy. First, there has to be a K2 signal present. Right here, you can see we have a buy signal. Next, you have to make sure that the K2 trend meter does not match. So if this is a green signal, we'd be looking for a red trend meter. As you can see here, the first 2 requirements are met. And lastly, you just want to make sure that price isn't within 10 to 15 pips from the K2 SR. And that would be the entry price. So if we were to measure this here, you can see the support is above the entry. Our entry would be on the low of the signal candle right here. So this would be a valid entry. To determine the stop loss and profit target, we zoom out, use a short tool, set it at the low of that candle, and there we go. So if we were to enter this for a K2 pullback entry, we'd be shooting for 98.1 pips. And if we let this run, you can see right there, hit profit target. We got a US 30 scalp entry. So if you took this trade with the K2 pullback strategy, you enter right here, and you would have hit TP in about 3 hours. So in about 3 hours, you would have made 98.1 pips. And if you were trading that on a standard lot, so we made a 98.1 pip gain. And if you're trading a 1.0 standard lot, that would equal $10 per pip. And so if you had plus 98.1 times $10 each pip, you would have made $980 USD in 3 hours. And yeah, that's an example of the K2 pullback strategy. We have another entry right here. So same requirements. First, K2 signal present. We have a buy signal right here. Next, we make sure that the trend meter doesn't match the signal. So the trend meter is red, the signal is green. That gets for a valid entry. Next, we just make sure price isn't within 10 to 15 pips from the K2 SR, which it isn't. And then, like I said before, we zoom out, use the short tool, and then it'd be set at the low of this candle. And then if we let that run, we're going to be shooting for 114.9 pips. So let that run. looks like it's stop loss. I'm not sure if something happened, if there was something going on in the news, but it looks like there might have been. 3 a.m.
I think that's the trade we caught on Monday.
Oh, this is the one that we called on Monday?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah, it is. Yeah, I don't know what happened. Something happened. I think we did call this trade. Yeah, price just ended up reversing heavy. Let me see. I'm going to try to pull it up. Was there news that day? Or was there
You said what?
was there news that day? I'm looking at the news.
No, I don't think there was news. This is random reversal.
So it was the 7th so it started to reverse around here, 4 a.m. So there was your group meetings, and yeah, I don't know. I mean, it happens sometimes. You can't win all the trades. But yeah, for some reason, it reversed right there. But if you entered right here, this would be the same strategy again right here. So this would have been a win for 98 pips. Stop loss for 114 pips. Right here is another valid sell stop entry, which would be right there. And if you took that trade, it would have hit profit target. So it would have balanced out. You would have made 98 pips on this. You would have lost 100 on here, made another 100 on here. So in total, you probably would have made a little bit over 100, or actually a lot over. About 100 pips. So you do have 100 pip profit overall. Still being profit after those two trades. And then this is where current price is now. So if we were to enter this trade, it'd be the same setup. I'd zoom out, and then I'd have a short position right here. And that's just following the K2 pullback strategy. This doesn't necessarily mean that price is going to come downwards, but it looks like it will, because we looked at the overall technical analysis, and on the 4-hour, it's a super strong sell. It's a little indecisive on the daily, but on the 1-hour, overall, it shows a sell, and then on the 4-hour, it shows a sell. So the daily is probably going to follow it if these keep pushing down. And that's why we'd have a sell stop here, because we only want to catch it if price shoots down. So yeah, if you're looking at EA, it's possible sell. Oh yeah, CT, definitely. Yeah, I mean, it's all about risk management. So you'd win one, lose one, win one for the same amount, you'd recoup your losses, and you still have the win from here. So that's over 100 pips. And then if you were to take this one, the risk is pretty high. I mean, depending on how much you're risking. If you're taking a standard lot, that's a big risk for 145 pips. But if you're trading a smaller lot size, then this would be a good risk to take, honestly, because if you look at the chart on a bigger time frame, it's been trending down for quite some time. If we go on the higher time frame, like the 1-hour, it's definitely a strong downtrend. 4-hour, same thing there. And if you look on the daily, it's in an extreme downtrend. So if we looked at, and this dropped crazy. So from March 19 until now, it's dropped over 2,300 pips. So, this trend is super strong. So I definitely see it coming down. So yeah, I mean, if you counted these all together, just like CT said, it's a 66% win rate, which is, is pretty good. I think anything above 50 is good, because if you take every trade, you're going to end up in profit regardless. All right, let's see what else we got here. Yeah, so Abigail, I hope that helped. If you have any other questions, feel free to let us know if you want us to, analyze anything specific about EA. Otherwise, if you guys have any other questions, feel free to put the pair down in the chat, and then we'll look over them. So L wants to see GBP CHF. think we looked at that earlier too, but we'll look at it again. Let's see, GC. Oh yeah, I think we looked at this for Susik earlier. So I think when we looked at it earlier, we said that it was an overall uptrend. So let me go back to the technical analysis for that pair. So if we look at technicals, looks on the daily, it has a buy bias. On the 4 hour, it's also a buy bias, and also on the 1 hour. So if you have a GC position, I definitely see it pushing upwards. It looks like it's getting close to the resistance here, but it looks like it should keep pushing up. But like we said earlier, the GBP pairs are moving a little weird. If you're looking at GA, when we first got on this call, it shot up heavy, and then it pulled back down. It looks like now it's either going to keep pushing up or it's going to correct back downwards because it's in an overall downtrend. Same with GJ. It looks like it's pushing down pretty heavy. So something happened recently that caused the GBP to get really strong and then get really weak. Because GA over here pushed up about 100 pips, but then it pulled back like 50 pips, and then now it's pretty indecisive. So if you're not in GC, I wouldn't get into this trade right now, just because how price is currently moving. But if you are in a trade, I think overall it should go up. It's going to be slow during Asia session, so it's probably going to pick up once we get closer to London. It's 7:43 right now our time. London is midnight, so you could probably see some more movement in about 4 or 5 hours. But currently it looks like it's going to be ranging until then within this zone. So this zone gives you a cushion of about 20 pips. So yeah, if you're looking at it to enter, I wouldn't enter it right now. I would just hold off and watch it until we get closer to London. Because the worst thing that could happen is, once it breaks out of this range, it could shoot either direction. So if you're already in a trade, if you're in a buy, it could shoot up pretty nicely. But if you're in a buy and then it shoots down this way, it could go down pretty heavily. So personally, I wouldn't enter this trade right now. But if you are in it and you're in a buy, I think you're in a better position than if you were in it for a sell. Yeah, it's definitely in an uptrend right now. I'll look at the 1 hour to see. It's also an uptrend. 4 hour. Uptrend. Daily. Uptrend. Yeah, so if you have a buy, I think you'll be fine. Otherwise, if you're in a sell, I would just watch it. Or if you're not even in it yet, then just watch it as well. But I personally wouldn't be entering this trade right now, even though we have a valid K2 buy entry right here. So you can see if there's an example for a buy that I can show you guys. The GC is it's kind of weird pair. I personally don't like trading GC just because of the way it moves. Since they're both Euro pairs, they're gonna move. They're usually gonna be ranging, or if they do move, it's gonna be like a random breakout in a specific direction. But yeah, I hope that helps for GC. Pretty much for all GBP pairs, I would just hang tight with those right now. But it's probably gonna shoot up. It looks like it's hitting some resistance from the bottom. So it'll probably come up and test the resistance right here, which is about 18 pips. So I think you got some cushion there. All right, cool. So let me see what else we got here. Lisa said S&P had a buy signal at support up to 5 minutes. So let's go to S&P real quick. I'm not sure when she sent that, but it looks like, I think when we analyzed this earlier, it looked like it hit some resistance up here. Yeah, because I remember we were looking at this earlier. It looks like all the indices are coming down. So personally, I probably wouldn't enter any buys right now. Let's look on the 30-minute. Yeah, on the 30-minute, it's a little more clear. As you can see here, established a double, if not, actually like a triple So a triple, if not quadrupled, top up here. You can see on the 30-minute, it tested up here, rejected, came down, tested right here, rejected, retested again, and then it looks like it's now getting ready to shoot downwards. So personally, I wouldn't take any any buys for the indices right now. I would only take sells. So right here, we have a sell signal. Generally, I wouldn't like to take it if the trend meter is green, but just looking at the other charts from the higher time frames, it looks like it's going to be coming down. So this would be a valid K2 scalp. So I would have entered a sell right there. I probably wouldn't take it for this far. Take it right there for 133 pips. I know the valuation for S&P is a little different, but I think this would be a good a good area for a scalp right here. The only problem is that it's getting close to support right here. So as you can see, it tested it down here. It might come off and reject off the support line. It might not. So if you want to scalp, once it gets into the profit right here, I would move your stop loss to break even or in profit just to eliminate risk 100% and then just guarantee profits moving forward. And then if you do get stopped out, it's fine. You can always re-enter. But yeah, S&P looks like it's going to move like that on the 5-minute. Yeah, so for the S&P, the trend is upwards, but if you look at the higher time frames, there's clearly like a very strong resistance up here where it's rejected. So if it's to repeat what happened previously, like it did right here, I'm expecting it to come down again, and that's why, yeah, the confluence is a lot bigger on the higher time frames. So technically, you could probably scalp it up if you really wanted to, like right here. It already rejected, and then you could have scalped this up right here depending on how wide your spread is. So it looks like spread is about 4 pips. So if you were to scalp this right here, it shot up at least 32 pips. So as it moved in profit, you could have moved your stop loss. You could slightly adjusted it up, and you could have made a couple pips there, like 10, 20 pips before getting stopped out. And I'm pretty sure you could do the same thing here if you were to get another a buy signal, because it looks like right here, even though it tested this a bunch of times, you still would have been able to scalp pretty much, because if you entered this trade right here, let me put a buy right here. Yeah, so your stop loss would have been right here at about 113 pips. And as it moved up, you could have eliminated your risk and then guarantee a small scalp there. Same with this right here. Stop loss would have been at the swing, somewhere around there, 67 pips. And if you're doing a 1-on-1, you for sure would have hit it there. Or if you wanted to trail it, you could have eliminated your risk once you got in profit and then just write it up. So if you were to move your stop loss by candle as it moved up, looks like it would have moved up to right here. Actually, you would have moved it up to this area right here if you're using the exit strategy that I explained in the other live trading room. And then you could have logged in about 96 pips on that move. So you can see right here, it's pushing up still. So you could probably see a buy signal coming at some point. And then you could scalp it for a couple pips. But personally, I probably wouldn't take any buys, even though it fits the requirements, just due to the triple top up here. If you look on the higher time frames, 4 hour. Yeah, on the 4 hour, it looks like it's a pretty strong zone. So it looks like it tested 1, 2, 3, 4, maybe even 5 if you count this last candle. So it definitely looks like it's about to come down at some point. So personally, yeah, if you're looking at S&P, I personally wouldn't buy unless you're scalping, because it looks like it's coming down. So let me see. I think someone else asked about it. Yeah, so Tyler, you asked about S&P. Yeah, Kodi as well. So Kodi and Tyler both asked about S&P. Kodi's in a sell at 27.38. So I'll put that on the chart so you can see where you're at. 27.38. Oh, you're way down here. I think you're fine. I think it's going to keep coming down. The support is right here. So I mean, what might happen? This is the 5-minute though, so it's not very strong. The 15-minute support's way down here, so you've got a long way to go. The 30 minutes even farther down here. So it looks like this is going to be the zone for support. So if you're trading on the 15 or maybe even the 30, you've got a long way to go. The only thing that I would recommend is if, since you did enter at this point right here, I would adjust your stop loss manually and just follow the candles as they close. So right here, after this candle, I move your stop loss to the high right here, so you could at least eliminate risk. So now, if you did move your stop loss and profit, then you're risk-free. So regardless whether the price pulls back or it traces, you're still going to get stopped out on profit. But at least you're going to be guaranteeing, profits instead of, risking a loss if it decides to pull back and retest the resistance again. And if that happens, that's fine. You can always just come back and re-enter at a later time because we do expect it to come down pretty far. So this would have been your entry right here. So yeah, if you moved it down to break even or in profit, everything down here would be profit. And then as prices to move down, so say if this candle closes right here, I would just move your stop loss to the high of that candle, like right there. And then pretty much just write it down. It's similar to if you did it right here. So say if you're entering a buy position right here, and then you just traced your, you pretty much just manually trailed your stop loss. So as this candle closed, you would move your stop loss up here. As this candle closed, you move your stop loss up here. This one, same, and then you get stopped out right there. So if you did that, and you entered around this area, you would have locked in 523 pips. And then as it pulled back, you would have got stopped out, could have re-entered again. But just by doing that, you're exercising proper risk management, and you're able to, maximize your risk and eliminate your risk. Maximize your profit and eliminate your risk whenever possible. And that's like the key in, becoming a consistently profitable trader. A lot of new traders don't understand how to, eliminate the risk. And then you guys just have to remember to, take your money off the table when you can. Oh, cool. Yeah. So Kodi's doing a trailing stop loss. Yeah, that's good too. The only problem with the trailing stop loss, if you're doing automatic, is, as price moves and as price is going to gap, obviously price is going to retrace every once in a while. So like if you're in a big candle like this and it's retracing back and forth, you can get stopped out if it's too close. So depending on your broker, if you have a wide spread or a tight spread, that'll have like a huge impact whether you get stopped out early or not. But yeah, if you have a trailing stop loss, that's perfectly fine. It's just right now it's going to be moving slow. So I think it's good for right now during Asia. But once we get closer to London session, it's going to be gapping around like crazy. All right, let's see. Is there any other questions? Yeah, so Tyler, we looked at S&P. I would definitely enter a short if you're looking at that. Lisa said GN. I don't think not GN. I don't know if she meant GN, the pair, or good night. I think she said good night to the Crow earlier. Oh, okay, get it, yeah. Well, yeah, so it looks like we went over all of the pairs that were requested. If you guys have any other pairs you guys want me to look at, feel free to let me know. Otherwise, I'm going to be looking at the charts. We've been on for about 2 hours now, so I'm probably going to get off in about 10 or 20 minutes. I'm just going to keep looking at the charts meanwhile. If you guys do have any questions, feel free to let me know. If you guys want me to go over the K2 strategy, I know some of you here are new. So if you do want that, I can go over the strategy. Otherwise, I'm just going to keep looking at pairs right now. This is a GJ we were in earlier. Hit TP1. But as I discussed earlier, we moved our stop loss and profit. So everyone should be out either in profit or at TP1. If you do want to re-enter, we'll probably re-enter at a later time once there's extra confirmation. Looks like it's testing the support right here. So the thing is, if it bounces off and confirms, that it's correcting back upwards, then that'd be a good time to enter. Otherwise, I would hang tight due to the unusual movements from GBP. I'm gonna go back to GA. Looks like it's exactly where it was earlier. So this is pretty indecisive. I think all the GBP pairs are indecisive after that, that random movement up. Hey, Aaron, are you looking at any pairs right now?
Nope. Just seeing how. Well, to be honest, the AU is just seeing how it reacts on the support level.
What are you saying for AU?
Yeah, so I'm still looking at AU, seeing how it reacts right there. But it could break, so we'll see.
Yeah, I would just wait for it
Yeah.
to see what happens. Because I'm honestly, it could go either direction.
Yeah.
If it breaks the trend line, it could go down. Or if it shoots back up, it could test this resistance. I mean, it's in a tight zone right here. It's kind of like sort of like an ascending triangle. I mean, without the triangle, but basically.
That's true.
Yeah, because it looks like it's in a bit of a tight zone right here. Probably bounce around until it breaks one of those points. Let's see. So Kavi said, wondering why don't you trade indices with Forex.com? Yeah, like Lisa said, Forex.com doesn't carry indices, unfortunately. So I do trade indices, but I only trade it on Hugo's Way. But I only trade indices on there. I don't trade FX because they're a little unreliable and their data is kind of delayed. I've had a couple issues with them before. But overall, they're pretty decent if you're using them only for indices. But yeah, CT said there's news on JPY and GBP. Let me check the news real quick.
Around what time? I hope it's positive.
Yeah, so actually, I don't know. Did it happen already? Let me check. The time here is so weird because we're on daylight savings time. Oh, Kavi said Canadian Forex. Oh, that makes sense. Yeah, we don't have it here in US, but I could see them having it in Canada maybe. Because like I was talking to Aaron about indices earlier, it's weird because Awanda has data for US 30, but I'm not able to trade it. Or, I mean, it can be traded with the US account, but maybe you can use it.
Let's see what's going on.
Yeah, CT said 10 p.m. Pacific time. Oh, I see it. Is it 10 or 11? I think it might be 11 for us. But I do see, because I'm looking at Forex Factory right now. Yeah, it's weird for us because we're on daylight savings time, so I get kind of tripped up on the times because I know Aaron showed me time earlier, and it was a little different on mine. Yeah, it looks like so there's Euro news, GBP news, and JPY news. They're all light impact. There's one medium impact GBP news. So they're fine. I mean, if we have any trades open during that, I don't think it's going to move it far enough. But who knows, sometimes it says light news, but then it ends up moving price like crazy. And especially since it's at 11 p.m., it's so close to London Open that it could affect it like heavily, depending on, the type of news that comes out. Let's see if there's anything else on here. Yeah, we don't have any other pairs that anyone's looking for. So if you guys do have anything you want us to look at, feel free to let us know. Otherwise, we're just going to keep watching for any upcoming trades. ACT, this looks like a nice buy right here. Honestly, I think I might scalp this. If this closes with a, even though I said that we were looking for sells, just for a scalp, it'd be nice for quick little buy. This is a little too far. I wouldn't take it that far. Like 700. I mean, that still looks kind of far, but I think it'd be fine if we were to yeah, actually it's pulling back. It might not even close with the signal. Tyler said, "Do you guys ever go live while trading?" Yeah, I mean, right now we would be trading if there was any entries, but there isn't really anything up. We were live earlier when we had the GJ running. But yeah, if we do find an entry, then yeah, we'll take it. So technically we are trading live. But right now, since it's during Asia, there isn't really much to take. If you look at, I think the very first live trading room that I did, I was trading live. I was trading indices, and I was just calling out trades. Because I'm scalping, I'm not able to send them out in the chat, so I just yell them out. So if I'm taking a US 30 scalp, I'll just tell people to buy at this point, and then I'll tell them exactly when to sell. So whoever's on the call could scalp with me. It's pretty much impossible to do if I'm typing it out, because once I type it out, I'm already in and out of the trade. And that's why I don't really call scalps on the Telegram. Aaron, did you look at this AN?
AN, let's see. Oh, I just see
A valid buy. Let me see how far is it from resistance.
12 pips.
12 pips. I mean, it's kind of close. I probably wouldn't take it.
It looked nice. I could see it, and then on a higher time frame, it broke past. It retested that support. So
it might be a good trade actually. Let me look on the. Let's see what the technical bias is for AN. For indices, if you're located in the US, I use Hugo's Way. I know Wade uses AvaTrade. So depending on where you're located, if you're not in the US, then I would just go with AvaTrade because I heard they're pretty good. Otherwise, if you're in the US, our options are pretty limited. I know Hugo's Way kind of sucks, but it does the job. So if you are in the US and you want to trade Hugo's Way, then I mean, if you want to trade indices, then Hugo's Way is fine. Otherwise, I would use something else. Aaron, AN has a strong buy. You think we should take it?
Yeah, it looks pretty good to me. I like it.
More. See the chart? Actually didn't pull back that much. We could
What's the spread looking like? Let me check it on mine because the spread could be too much.
Spread's only like 1 pip on mine. We could probably call a buy stop. So I'm gonna set it up. So
yeah, the spread is like 5 pips on mine.
So what do you think? You should call it or
not? And how many pips are we gonna risk?
Let's see, 32.
It should be pretty cool. Yeah, I like it.
All right, cool. So this is how I set up K2 signals. It's pretty simple. I just pretty much the parameters here. So this would be the entry. This would be the profit target. Stop. Cool. And I'm just gonna round out the here. You think for the TP1 you should put it below resistance, huh?
Yeah, no. Let's see. Hold on. Is that more than 10 pips?
It's a little. Yeah, it's 11 pips. I can do that. So we go. All right, guys, send out the signal to our premium members. So if anything, I'll probably share that trade later with the public group. If
You gotta change the
oh,
yeah, it's still on GJ.
there we go. CT said we need export app from TradingView. An export app, like, oh, to pretty much, so like put the signal on TradingView. I mean, not TradingView, it's Telegram. Yeah, I have one of those, but it doesn't give the actual parameters. Like I have the webhook where, like, if I have these alerts here, like these alerts could be sent to the Telegram group, but the only problem is it doesn't come out with the parameters. So it doesn't give, like, you know, the entry, stop loss, and profit target. So that's probably something that I could work on in the future. Oh yeah, MT4. I have that too. It's the same problem. Like I do have the alerts where it could, you know, it could automatically enter on MT4, but the problem is it doesn't have the exact parameter. So it'll enter the trade for me, but then I'll have to enter like the stop loss and profit target, which is, I mean, it's a start. So I could probably have my coder code that in at a later time once we figure it out. Because when I first set up that code, I didn't have all these other indicators. All I had was the original K2 indicator, but I didn't have the trend meter at that point, and I didn't have the K2SR. So I'm gonna have to incorporate pretty much all those indicators so that it's able to identify, you know, valid trades and not just every single signal that comes out. But even if we were to do that, it looks like we could take literally every trade. So if we took this sell, we could have moved it into stop loss into break even as soon as it moves into profit. Same with this buy. We could have bought this and just trailed the stop. And same with the sell. Like, we could literally trade both ways. I think that's going to be, you know, the next algo trader that I'm going to be coding, where we could pretty much take trades in both directions. So every time it would, you know, switch up the direction, it would just take a trade in that order. Because it looks like we could make a ton of money doing that, like an algo trader that just, you know, followed the trend. So that'd be like a nice 29 pips. Same with the sell, an extra 29 there. And it works pretty perfectly. I mean, it works very good with high volatility pairs. So I think if I was to do that, I don't know if I do US30. I'd like to do it with US30, but it, you know, moves way too fast. And I think MT4 won't be able to catch that. I might get screwed over if I end up running it and then it has a malfunction and it doesn't exit the trade and I end up blowing my account. But yeah, I think if we were to find a smooth pair, maybe like EU or something, it'd be nice. Yeah, because it looks like EU. We're not on the 5-minute, but on the 30-minute. Yeah, so if we were to do that on EU, it looks like it's pretty smooth. If I was to have it coded where it would take it when it's matching. So if it gave a sell signal and it was a bearish candle, then I could write it down, write it up, and write it down. Yeah, so that's definitely something that I'd look into for a future product. Maybe when we get into account management. Yeah, so possibly. Lisa said, I have a wish list. Can you add? Yeah, so right now I'm looking into copy trade services. I haven't found anything that's really good. I know Wade, he introduced this copier to me, but the problem with that copier is that it only works on PCs. So I'm either going to have to buy a PC or figure out a Mac program that's going to allow for copy trading. But I think that would be good for my scalping, since I'm pretty good scalping US30. So if I'm able to copy trade that, I think that'd be great for everyone, because then everyone can make a ton of money just pretty much copying exactly what I'm doing. Yeah, VPS. I try to use the VPS, but the problem with the VPS is that like I tried to run it before, but it would always either freeze up or it would have some type of bug. And like, if I'm going to be trading real money, I don't really want to risk it. Cloud-based, yeah. The one that I was looking at was cloud-based. Yeah, exactly. So TC's exactly right. I need to find the right host. The problem is when you're finding a host for something like this, there are always going to be like some shady hosts. So I probably either have to, find a host that I know personally that could, guarantee that connection is going to be good. Otherwise, it's going to be super risky, especially with scalping, because we're going to be getting in and out of trades within seconds. Yeah, Lisa, keep reminding me. But I definitely want to look into that, because I know a lot of people have trouble even just copying our signal sometimes if they're not able to, monitor the trades as the same way that me and Aaron do. So if anything, I think that's probably going to be the number one priority for us right now, is to find a copy trader. And then after that, we'll probably get into some algo trading. All right, guys, so it looks like I don't have any other questions. We've been on this call for a little over 2 hours now, so I think it's about time for me to get off. We don't really have any trades that came up anytime recently. So if anything, I'm going to try to start getting on during New York session. There's a lot more volatility during New York, so I think that'd probably be a better time for us to get on a live trading call. Otherwise, I'll probably reserve the Tokyo session for more trading, and then more so the New York session for actual live trading. Aaron, are you watching AN? I'll just leave it. I mean, it's a buy stop, so no one's actually in that trade yet. But yeah, otherwise, I'm gonna get off right now, guys. If you guys have any other questions, feel free to message me on Telegram. And if you guys want access to the KT strategy, if you guys don't already do, you guys can check out our website at www.kttrade.com. Otherwise, guys, let's see. CT said, is that your TP? Yeah, so for the first TP, we have it at resistance. That's TP1. The full move is going to be for the 32.4 pips, so it's going to be somewhere up. Let's see, 3.4. Yeah, so that's going to be our full TP. The reason we have it down there is just, so once it reaches this area, it's just a benchmark for people to move their stop loss to break even or in profit, so that in the situation where it would pull back, then it would stop out in profit, but then, pretty much shoot up to full profit is what we're looking for. Yeah, exactly. Pretty much, it's pretty much just a precaution, because I know a lot of people don't know how to move their stop loss and profit, but I think having it right there, it'll be easy for them to follow. But yeah, otherwise, yeah, if you guys have any other questions, feel free to message me on Telegram, me or Aaron, so we can help you guys out. But yeah, it was a good trading room. I hope I helped everyone that had questions. But yeah, so we'll try to get on tomorrow morning. If not, we'll be on again same time, around 6 p.m. Pacific Daylight Savings Time. We're going to try to move it a little earlier. I know a lot of people can't stay on that late, so we're going to try to have our set scheduled live trading room for Tokyo around 5 p.m. to 7 p.m. and then our New York session sometime around 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. But yeah, guys, it was a great trading room. Let me know if you guys have any questions. Otherwise, I'll see you guys later. All right, see ya.